For those of you that love talking about animals, from Sci News, Metoposaurus algarvensis, fossils of giant salamander-like amphibian found in Portugal. A team of scientists led by Dr. Steve Brusate of the University of Edinburgh, UK, has discovered a new species of Metoposaurus that lived in lakes and rivers of what is now Portugal during the late Triassic period between 200 and 230 million years ago. And now, from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guy Live Prehistoric News. Hit that subscribe button so we can dive right back into the prehistoric news of the day. Well, this is really good to see. There have been quite a few different species of Metoposaur amphibian that have been discovered during the 20th century or the 1900s. So there are at least five different species of Metoposaurus that have been discovered. The newly discovered species named Metoposaurus algarvensis belongs to an extinct genus of primitive amphibians known from the Triassic of Germany, Italy, Poland, and Portugal. These primitive salamander like creatures lived at the same time as the first dinosaurs began their dominance, which lasted for over 150 million years. Pushing around 100, well, today, pushing 170 million years when it came to the overall dominion of the dinosaurs, not including the birds, and formed part of the ancestral stock from which modern amphibians such as frogs and newts evolved. Metoposaurus algarvensis was up to 2 meters or 6.5 feet long. It lived much like crocodiles do today and fed mainly on fish. Well, this is a member of the temnospondyl lineage of amphibians, so it's not surprising that this or a species of temnospondyl was able to reach the size. And this isn't even the largest, but we don't really have an estimation on the weight. But I'm going to guess probably around 130 to 150 pounds at least. So let's take a little deeper look. This new amphibian looks like something out of a bad monster movie. It was as long as a small car and had hundreds of sharp teeth in its big flat head, which kind of looks like a toilet seat when the jaw snaps shut. Wait, w- well, um, yeah,
I
but
just thought it looked like a frog.
I just thought he would make a really good pet. You'd just be swimming in your pond. He's always in a cheerful mood as long as the temperature is warm for him, and um, yeah, and plenty of fish. Anyway, let's take a look at another creature from the early. Well, let me rephrase that. Late Paleozoic. I was about to say earlier Phanerozoic. So this is Protogorinus, which existed about 330 million years ago during the Carboniferous period, which was somewhere around 100 million, I'd say around 95 to 100 million years before the first dinosaurs would evolve. And this individual is a species of the Emmobordidae lineage of tetrapods. So this individual could reach over 8 feet in length. They're pushing about 2.5 meters, and probably weighed somewhere around um, 300 pounds or a little over 140 kilograms. And this individual would have fed on different species of amphibian in the region.
That doesn't sound that heavy for that long, that length.
Well, for the time, it was one of the largest predators on land. So, I'd say, I mean, for the mid Carboniferous period, this was quite remarkable. So now, as you progress later into the late Carboniferous and then the early Permian period, yes, it becomes a bit of, it's not as impressive. But for the mid Carboniferous, this is astounding. This individual has been discovered in Scotland as well as West Virginia, and this individual was probably feeding on the large arthropods of the time, as well as different species of fish in the region, probably even going after, let's see, probably not the trilobites, because most likely this individual was a freshwater carnivore and probably didn't have the skin type to deal with salt water and would eat its skin. So let's dive right back into the article. It was a type of fierce predator that the very first dinosaurs had to put up with if they strayed too close to the water long before the glory days of Tyrannosaurus rex and Brachiosaurus. Um, Let's see. Well, when it comes to the Metoposaur lineage of amphibians, would vary on the genus and species. So, depending on how long ago this specific species existed in the Triassic, it might not have even come into contact with dinosaurs. And if it did, they're likely very small, like within 5 to 7 feet or a little over 2 meters.
Was Tyrannosaurus Rex and Brachiosaurus during the same time period?
And no, Tyrannosaurus rex existed during the end of the Cretaceous period, around 66 million years ago, and Brachiosaurus existed towards the end of the Jurassic, around the last 5 million years, about 150 million years ago. They did both inhabit places such as Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana, but they never came into contact with each other. Um, Not even earlier species of Tyrannosaur ever came into contact with Brachiosaurus. So, most modern amphibians are pretty tiny and harmless, but back in the Triassic, these giant predators would have made lakes and rivers pretty scary places to be. Well, it wasn't just the giant amphibians that different, let's say the small dinosaurs of the Triassic had to deal with. You had different species of crocodilomorph or the pseudosuchians that they had to be concerned about. Um, as well as even different marine reptiles in the ocean if they happened to take a swim. So this was still when the dinosaurs were pretty much fair game for all the other predators within the region. Also, there wasn't just let's see if this is supposed to take place between 230 and 235 million years ago. There are few dinosaurs, but there are a wide range of different early dinosaur-like archosaurs that have already evolved. So let's take a look at another creature. Now, this animal used to be recognized as Coscinodon, which is another species of temnospondyl amphibian. But this is actually an animal called Anachisma, which could reach somewhere around say 6 feet in length or reaching almost 2 meters, and probably weighing somewhere around 120 pounds or a little over 60 kilograms. And this individual was mostly feeding on different species of fish in the areas of Poland that it existed in during the Triassic period. So, this was somewhere around 225 to 230 million years ago. The specific group that it belonged to first evolved around 248 million years ago during the early Triassic period, just after the Permian mass extinction. And they would eventually go extinct towards the end of the Triassic period, around 206 million years ago. So let's head back to the article. See. Several specimens of Metoposaurus algarvensis were collected from a late Triassic bone bed in Algarve, southern Portugal. They were found in a large bed of bones where up to several hundred of the creatures may have died when the lake they inhabited dried up. Wow, that's sad to hear, but pretty remarkable that we were able to discover this many. There have been different incidents of prehistoric amphibians, mainly certain genuses or genre of Temnospondyl from the Permian period as well as the Triassic that have been discovered. Many fossilized specimens coming from northern Texas, especially where um, animals such as Dimetrodon have been discovered. So this is what I'm referring to as somewhere it's taking place about 275 million years ago. So let's see. Only a fraction of the site, around 4 square meters. Let's see. I'm guessing it's somewhere around 15 or 16 square feet has been excavated so far. Okay, well, even though that sounds sad, the truth is that this is probably extremely hard sediment, and it can take a long time, even with concrete drills, to get through the sediment. This is very common in certain parts, especially like the Hell Creek Formation, when looking for different specimens of hadrosaurs, triceratops, or even T Rex. It's also having to be careful and not break the bones in the process. And Dr. Prusate and his colleagues are continuing work there in the hope of unearthing new fossils. According to the paleontologists, the genus Metoposaurus is currently represented by three European species: Metoposaurus diagnosticus, Metoposaurus crustaeoensis, and the newly discovered Metoposaurus algarvensis. So I believe it's just mentioning the two other species, unless they were recently found during this time as well. This is an older article. Now, Taking a look at another species of carnivore from the Triassic, but not an amphibian. This is a species of archosaur. Now, it's a bit more closely related to the crocodilians than it is to the dinosaurs or the pterosaurs. This is Batrachomedus, and this individual existed over in Wyoming around um, let's see, somewhere around 220 million years ago. And this individual could reach somewhere around 20 feet in length or pushing 6 meters and probably weigh over 2,000 pounds or pushing 1,000 kilograms. And this individual pretty much dominated the Triassic landscape of Wyoming during the late Triassic. It was feeding on the different species of sauropodomorph at the time, any species of carnivorous theropod dinosaurs, as well as smaller species of paracrocodilomorph, which it looks like is the group of pseudosuchians in which Batrachomedus belongs to. So this is somewhat related to other archosaurs such as Postosuchus, but it most likely could have preyed on Postosuchus if it happened to come into contact with it. So, let's see. Oh, in the background, who's this supposed to be? Seems to be another species of Temnospondyle. Not hitting me though. Anyway, let me know what your favorite species of large prehistoric amphibian is. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know because nothing is better than all animals all the time.